taking vitamin D but still tired. Here's the mistake 90% of people make with real consequences. It started with a quiet frustration. You were doing everything right. You bought the supplements. You took them every day. Magnesium for sleep, vitamin D3 for your bones, K2 because someone online said it was essential. But the results? Still tired, still waking up at 3 a.m., still feeling like your body's not listening. And maybe you've started to wonder, is it me? Am I broken? Or are these supplements just not working the way they should? Here's the truth nobody told you. Just because a supplement is popular, recommended, or even clinically studied, doesn't mean it will work for you, especially if you take it at the wrong time, in the wrong form, or without the nutrients it depends on to function. Your body doesn't respond to what's on the label. It responds to signals, to timing, to chemistry, to how those molecules interact inside your cells in real time, and when those signals are out of sync. Even the best-intentioned supplement routine can do more harm than good. Let me give you one example. Vitamin D3. Everyone says it's a must-have, especially in winter. But did you know that if you take high-dose D3 without enough magnesium, your body can't even activate it? It just builds up. In some cases, it can raise your calcium levels and put pressure on your arteries. And K2. It's not just a sidekick, it's the traffic cop that tells your calcium where to go. Without it, that calcium might harden your blood vessels instead of strengthening your bones. And magnesium, it's not just for sleep. It's involved in over 300 reactions in your body, everything from energy production to stress regulation. But the type of magnesium matters. The timing matters. The form you choose might be the difference between focus and fog. This is not about fear. It's about clarity. It's about finally understanding why what you're doing might not be working and how to fix it. In this episode, we're going to break down the most misunderstood trio in modern health, magnesium, D3, and K2, and show you how to turn them from random pills into a powerful protocol for energy, sleep, immunity, and long-term health. We'll explore the real science behind how these nutrients interact, why your timing might be off even if your dose is right, how your stress, meals, and even circadian rhythm affect absorption, and most importantly, how to customize your supplement routine based on your biology, not a one-size-fits-all approach. So if you've ever taken a supplement and felt like it did nothing, or worse, made things worse, this is for you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to make your supplements actually work for you, because you deserve to feel better. And your body, it's not broken. It's just waiting for the right signal. Let's begin. Number 1. Magnesium, the master switch most people use wrong. A few years ago, Susan, a 62-year-old retired schoolteacher, came into her doctor's office exhausted. She was waking up groggy, struggling with brain fog, and her anxiety seemed worse than ever. She had already tried everything, cutting caffeine, meditating, even taking magnesium every night, but nothing changed. The truth: she wasn't taking the wrong supplement. She was using the right one the wrong way. See, magnesium isn't just a sleep mineral. It's the master switch in your nervous system, the mineral that turns stress into calm, chaos into focus. It fuels more than 300 enzyme reactions. It's needed for muscle contractions, blood sugar balance, DNA repair, and even how your brain learns and adapts. But here's where it gets tricky. Not all magnesium is created equal. Most people pick up whatever's on sale. Magnesium oxide, for instance, is cheap, but your body only absorbs about 4% of it. The rest ends up in the toilet. And timing matters too. Take it too late and it can disrupt sleep instead of enhancing it. Take it in the wrong form and you might get diarrhea, bloating, or no benefit at all. So how do you actually use magnesium to get the benefits people promise? It starts with the right form at the right time for the right goal. Magnesium glycinate is calming, perfect for easing anxiety and promoting sleep. Magnesium threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier and supports memory and learning. Magnesium citrate helps digestion and constipation, but not ideal for brain support. And then there's timing. If your goal is better sleep or nervous system recovery, magnesium glycinate 1 to 2 hours before bed, alongside dim lights and a wind-down routine, can work wonders. If your goal is daytime clarity, magnesium threonate in the morning is more effective. The point is, magnesium doesn't work in isolation. It's a conductor. But you have to give it the full orchestra: real food, calm routines, hydration, and most importantly, the right form for the job. That was Susan's turning point. She switched to magnesium glycinate, dropped her evening screens, and added leafy greens during the day. Within a few weeks, she wasn't just sleeping better, she felt like herself again. The small lesson: supplements don't work because we take them. They work because we take them with intention. And speaking of intention, there's another misunderstood nutrient that affects everything from your mood to your immune system, not just your bones. Let's talk about vitamin D3, the true hormonal thermostat your body is craving. Number 2, vitamin D3, your hormonal thermostat, not just a bone pill. When people hear vitamin D, they usually think of bones, maybe a little sunshine. But very few realize that vitamin D3 is far more than a bone helper. It's a hormonal thermostat that controls how your body balances energy, immunity, and even your mood. Let me tell you about Mike. Mike is 67. He walks every morning, eats well, and takes his vitamin D every day, just like his doctor told him to. But he still feels tired. He gets sick often, and his mood, he says, it's a bit flat. When he got his labs back, the doctor said, "Your vitamin D levels are fine." But what they didn't look at was the active form of vitamin D, called calcitriol, which your body has to convert from the supplement you take. And guess what? That conversion doesn't happen without magnesium. That's right, vitamin D3 is useless without its cofactors, and even when it's activated, its job goes far beyond helping bones absorb calcium. Vitamin D3 supports over 1,000 genes, including those related to immune defense, inflammation regulation, and neurotransmitter production. Helps manage testosterone and insulin sensitivity. Plays a direct role in the brain areas linked to depression and cognitive performance. That's why people low in vitamin D often feel drained, mentally foggy, or prone to catching every little cold. And here's the kicker: many people are supplementing with D3 but still not getting results. Why? 3 reasons. They take it at the wrong time, late in the day, disrupting their melatonin and sleep. They take it without healthy fats, which it needs to be absorbed. They don't pair it with magnesium and vitamin K2, which we'll get to next. Here, what makes the biggest difference. Take your D3 in the morning with a meal that includes fat, like eggs, avocado, or olive oil. That matches your natural circadian rhythm and helps with absorption. If you're consistent and pair it with the right co-nutrients, something shifts. People start sleeping better. Their immune system calms down. Even their mood lifts. Mike made a simple change. He started taking D3 earlier in the day, paired it with K2 and magnesium, and in just a month, his brain fog cleared and he felt like his energy had finally landed. The lesson: your body is listening, but sometimes it needs the right timing, the right support, and the right signals to respond. Now, what happens after vitamin D pulls calcium into your bloodstream? Where does that calcium go? That's where most people make the mistake. And it's where one quiet nutrient steps up as the unsung hero. Let's meet vitamin K2, your body's invisible traffic controller. Number 3, vitamin K2, the calcium traffic controller no one talks about. Imagine a construction site. You've got trucks full of concrete, that's your calcium. A foreman making sure there's enough material coming in, that's vitamin D3. But without a traffic controller, all that calcium might be dumped in the wrong place, maybe even in the middle of the road. That's where vitamin K2 comes in. It's the traffic controller. And without it, your body doesn't know where to send all that extra calcium. Most people have never even heard of K2. And yet, it may be one of the most important nutrients for protecting your arteries, joints, and even your brain from calcium buildup. Here's how it works. Vitamin D3 tells your gut to absorb more calcium. Great. But where does that calcium go? Without K2, it can deposit into soft tissues, like blood vessels, kidneys, or joints, where it becomes harmful. K2 activates two critical proteins: osteocalcin, which directs calcium into bones and teeth; matrix GLA protein, MGP, which keeps calcium out of arteries and soft tissue. And here's the reality. Many people are walking around with high calcium intake from food and supplements, plus high vitamin D3 but low K2. And the result? Early arterial stiffness, bone spurs, kidney stones, even cognitive decline. Let me share the story of Angela, age 62. She took calcium and vitamin D every day to protect her bones. Her bone scans looked fine, but she developed tightness in her chest, and her doctor found signs of arterial calcification. It turned out she had never supplemented with K2. Once she added it, things began to shift, her flexibility improved, and her follow-up labs showed stabilized calcium markers. Now here's a simple way to think about this. Vitamin D brings in the calcium. Vitamin K2 tells it where to go. Without K2, the map is missing. The MK7 form of K2 is particularly effective. It stays in your system longer and requires only one dose daily. And yes, it's hard to get from diet alone unless you're eating natto, a fermented soybean dish most people in the West don't consume. The lesson here: health isn't just about adding good things. It's about directing them wisely. That's what K2 does. It's quiet. It's overlooked, but it might just be what keeps your bones strong and your arteries clear. Now, if these nutrients are like players on the same team, here's where the game really gets interesting. They only win when they play together. Let's explore the synergy triangle that ties magnesium, D3, and K2 into one powerful network, coming up next. Number 4. The synergy triangle, why these nutrients only work together. Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I met a man named Jerry at a health seminar. He was sharp, curious, and incredibly disciplined. He told me he took magnesium every night, vitamin D3 every morning, and even started supplementing calcium for his bones. But something's off, he said. I feel more tired than before, and oddly stiffer. When I asked if he was taking vitamin K2, he looked puzzled. What's that? That moment captured something many of us miss. Nutrients don't work in isolation. Our bodies aren't machines with independent parts. They're systems, interconnected, responsive, and deeply dependent on balance. Magnesium, vitamin D3, and vitamin K2 form what scientists now call a nutrient synergy triangle. Let's break it down. Magnesium is essential for converting vitamin D3 into its active form. Without enough magnesium, vitamin D just sits there, unused and possibly even harmful. Vitamin D3 increases the absorption of calcium from the gut. It's like turning on the faucet of calcium into your bloodstream. Vitamin K2 ensures that this calcium goes to your bones and teeth, not to your arteries or joints. Think of it like a relay race. Magnesium hands the baton to D3, D3 brings in calcium, and K2 makes sure calcium reaches the finish line. If one runner is missing, the whole system breaks down. And that's not theory. A 2018 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people supplementing with D3 but lacking magnesium or K2 had higher rates of arterial stiffness, fatigue, and poor calcium metabolism. It's not just about taking more, it's about taking what works together. Here's a practical lesson. If you're supplementing with one of these nutrients, ask yourself, are the others present too? If not, you may be working against your own biology. And if you've ever wondered why your supplement isn't helping or even making things worse, this might be the reason. Because in the human body, context is everything. Now let's get even more specific. You've got the right nutrients, but are you taking the right form of them? Because just like foods, not all supplements are created equal. Up next, we'll uncover why formulation matters more than dose, and how to avoid wasting your time, money, or health on the wrong kind. Number 5. Formulation matters. Why the form is more important than the dose. A few years ago, Susan, one of my former clients, walked into my office with a grocery bag full of supplements. She proudly held up a large bottle and said, "This one has 1,000 milligrams of magnesium. That's gotta be good, right?" I smiled gently and asked, "What form is it in?" She looked confused. "Magnesium, just magnesium." That's where so many people get lost. They focus on how much they're taking, but not what kind. And in the world of nutrients, the form can make all the difference between absorption and elimination. Let's start with magnesium. There are many forms, but each one behaves differently in your body. Magnesium oxide. Cheap and common, but it's poorly absorbed. Less than 4% gets into your bloodstream. Most of it goes straight to your gut and out the other end. It's basically a laxative. Magnesium citrate. Better absorbed and it helps with digestion, but still not ideal if your goal is calming the nervous system. Magnesium glycinate. A gentle, highly bioavailable form. It binds with glycine, an amino acid that calms the brain. Ideal for stress, anxiety, and sleep. Magnesium threonate, or magnesium L3 and 8. This one crosses the blood-brain barrier. It's the brain booster, shown in animal studies to improve memory and cognitive function. Now let's talk about vitamin D. Many people buy vitamin D2, often labeled as ergocalciferol. It's plant-based, but much less effective than vitamin D3, cholecalciferol, which is the natural form your body makes from sunlight. D3 is better absorbed, longer lasting, and more stable in the bloodstream. And then there's vitamin K2. You've probably never seen a label explain this clearly, but there are two main types, MK4 and MK7. MK4 is short-acting. It disappears from your system within a few hours, meaning you need to take it multiple times a day for a consistent effect. MK7 stays active for up to 72 hours and is the form most studied for arterial health and calcium transport. That's the one to look for. Here's the truth. A small amount of the right form can be far more effective and safer than a large dose of the wrong one. So the next time you're choosing a supplement, don't just glance at the number. Flip the bottle around. Ask, what form is this nutrient in? Is it bioavailable? Does it match my goals: sleep, brain, immunity, bone health? Here's the takeaway. Your body doesn't absorb labels. It absorbs molecules. And quality will always matter more than quantity. But even with the perfect supplement in the perfect form, there's still one question left. When should you take it? Because your body has a natural rhythm, and timing your nutrients to match that rhythm could be the difference between benefit and no effect at all. Let's explore that next. Number 6. Timing is everything. Circadian clocks and nutrient absorption. Imagine this: you're planting a seed. You give it water, sunlight, and soil. But instead of planting it in the spring, you drop it in the ground in the middle of winter. You did everything right except the timing, and the seed never grows. That's how supplements work too. Your body doesn't operate on a 24-hour flatline. It moves in rhythms, biological tides we call circadian clocks. These internal clocks affect hormone release, digestion, cell repair, even how well you absorb nutrients. Let's look at vitamin D3 first. Your body naturally produces D3 when your skin is exposed to sunlight, specifically UVB rays, most efficiently in the morning and early afternoon. That's when your body is biologically primed for it. So if you're taking vitamin D3 late at night, right before bed, you're giving your body a daylight signal at exactly the wrong time. That could disrupt your melatonin production, mess with your sleep, or simply reduce how well your body uses the vitamin. Best time to take vitamin D3. Morning, ideally with your first meal, especially one that contains some healthy fats to boost absorption. Now let's move to magnesium. Magnesium works like a brake pedal for your nervous system. It helps lower cortisol, calms the mind, and supports melatonin production. So it makes sense that for most people, magnesium is most effective in the evening, when your body is preparing to wind down. That's why magnesium glycinate, for instance, is often best taken 1 to 2 hours before bedtime, paired with low light and no screens. It sends the brain the right message, time to rest. But there's a twist. If your goal is better focus or stress resilience during the day, another form, magnesium threonate, might be better taken in the morning or early afternoon. This one boosts cognition without sedation. And here's where the magic of rhythm comes in. Your gut, your liver, your enzymes, they all work in time-sensitive waves. For example, your digestive enzymes peak earlier in the day. Your stomach acid and bile flow are stronger around breakfast and lunch. Your cortisol naturally rises in the morning to wake you up and tapers off by night to allow melatonin to rise. So when you take a supplement out of sync with this rhythm, it's like showing up to a party after everyone's gone home. A real-life example. One of my clients, Mark, took his vitamin D3 and magnesium all at once, at 10 p.m. right before bed. He thought he was being efficient, but he couldn't sleep well and the D3 wasn't improving his energy. Once we split the two, D3 in the morning, magnesium glycinate in the evening, everything changed. Within a week he reported deeper sleep, better focus, and even a more stable mood. Lesson: timing isn't a small detail, it's a signal. So here's a simple protocol: 8 to 10 a.m. Take vitamin D3 plus K2 with breakfast, with healthy fat. 12 to 2 p.m. optional dose of magnesium threonate for mental clarity. 8 to 10 p.m. take magnesium glycinate to support sleep and recovery. Because the goal isn't just to take nutrients, it's to use them when your body is ready to receive them. Now that you've learned when to take your supplements, here's the next question. How do you know if you actually need them at all? The answer lies not in guesswork, but in your labs and your body's signals. Let's explore that next. Number 7. Why testing beats guessing. Labs and body signals that matter. Let me tell you about Sharon. She was doing everything right. Magnesium in the evening, vitamin D3 with breakfast, a clean, whole food diet. But despite all of that, she still felt off, tired during the day, restless at night, irritable for no clear reason. She assumed it was just aging, until one simple blood test told a different story. Sharon's vitamin D levels were sky-high, over 90 ng/ml. That's well above the optimal range. And her magnesium, functionally low, even though her supplements claimed 400 mg per day. The issue wasn't effort, it was personalization. This is why testing beats guessing. Your body is not a textbook. It's a living, breathing, adapting system. And while general advice can be helpful, you need real data from labs or from your own internal cues to guide your decisions with precision. Let's break it into 2 parts, labs and signals. Part 1, labs that matter. The most important ones. Hydroxyvitamin D. This is the gold standard for checking your vitamin D status. Ideal range, 40-60 ng/ml for most people. If you're supplementing but still feel low energy or get sick often, check this. You might be under or overshooting. RBC magnesium. Standard serum magnesium often looks normal even when your tissues are starving for it. RBC magnesium gives a better picture of what's happening inside your cells. Optimal, (6 mg/dl or above. Calcium plus parathyroid hormone, PTH. If calcium is high and PTH is low, it may signal that too much vitamin D is driving calcium into your blood, but without enough vitamin K2 to guide it. These tests are simple, affordable, and they give you the power to stop guessing and start adjusting. Part 2, body signals you can trust. But what if you don't have access to labs right now? Your body still whispers. tired but wired at night. You may need more magnesium, less evening stimulation, or better light hygiene. Frequent illness or low mood. Suboptimal vitamin D3 may be dulling your immune and serotonin pathways. Muscle cramps, tight joints, or dental sensitivity. These may point to low vitamin K2 or calcium misdirection. Think of it like this. Your body speaks a language. Pain, fatigue, anxiety, brain fog, they're not random. They're feedback, and the better you get at listening, the less you need to rely on guesswork. A little habit that helps. Start a 7-day body signal journal. Each day, write down sleep quality, energy levels, mood stress, muscle or joint tension. If you change a supplement, note the time, dose, and form. Patterns will emerge, and you'll begin to see what's working and what's not. The bigger lesson: supplements aren't magic bullets. They're tools, and tools only work if used the right way, in the right context, with the right feedback. As Sharon learned, when you stop guessing and start measuring, you don't just feel better, you understand why you feel better. Now that you know how to personalize your choices, the next step is even more exciting. Let's take all the tools we've talked about: magnesium, vitamin D3, K2, timing, form, and feedback, and stack them together into real-world protocols for better sleep, mood, and immune health. Ready to build your custom blueprint? Let's go there next. Number 8. Stack It Smart, personal protocols for sleep, mood, and immunity. Let me introduce you to Marcus. He's 62, recently retired, and for the first time in years, he's trying to focus on his health. Like many of us, he began with supplements: magnesium for sleep, vitamin D3 for bones, K2 because he heard it was important. But here's what he didn't do: stack them smart. Marcus took all three at random times, used whatever brand was cheapest, and had no idea if they were helping. In fact, some days he felt worse. More fatigue, random headaches, poor sleep. He wasn't the problem, his protocol was. Why stacking matters. When we talk about stacking, we don't just mean throwing a bunch of nutrients together. We're talking about intentional combinations, right form, right timing, and right order, designed to support a specific goal. Think of it like building a house. You don't start with the curtains. You lay the foundation. Supplements are the same. Each one supports the other, but only when built in the correct sequence. So let's go over 3 real-world stacks designed around the most common goals: better sleep, improved mood, and stronger immunity. 1. Sleep stack: wind down without grogginess goal. Fall asleep faster, stay asleep, wake refreshed. Evening routine: 8:00–9:30 p.m. Magnesium glycinate, 200–300 mg. Herbal tea or calm reading. Dim lights or blue light blockers. No screens 30 minutes before bed. Why it works: glycinate supports GABA, your brain's calming signal, helps regulate melatonin, and reduces nighttime cortisol. This isn't sedation, it's neurological permission to rest. 2. Mood plus resilience stack: daytime clarity without stimulants goal. Smooth energy, stable mood, lower anxiety. Morning routine: 8:10 a.m. Vitamin D3 plus K2 MK7, with breakfast, ideally with fat. Optional: magnesium threonate, 1000–2000 mg. Natural light exposure within 30 minutes of waking. Why it works: D3 and K2 support serotonin production, calcium balance, and immune function. Threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier, supporting cognitive clarity without sedation. Light anchors your circadian rhythm, like hitting your brain's start button. 3. Immunity stack: foundational defense daily goal. Reduce frequency and intensity of illness, support repair. Daily support anytime with food. Vitamin D3, 1000–2000 IU. Vitamin K2 MK7, 100–200 mcg. Magnesium split dose, threonate AM, glycinate PM. Zinc 10–15 mg with lunch, if not already in diet. Why it works: this combination supports immune cell signaling, reduces inflammation, and enhances calcium management, so your defenses are strong but not overreactive. A small practice, a big difference. Here's the takeaway Marcus learned. It wasn't about doing more. It was about doing smarter. He switched to glycinate at night, added K2 to his D3, and spread magnesium out based on stress and sleep needs. Within 2 weeks, his energy stabilized, sleep improved, and perhaps most importantly, he felt in control, not confused. A common mistake to avoid: don't stack everything at once. Introduce one new element at a time. Give it a few days. Journal how you feel. If you're changing 3 things every day, you'll never know what actually worked. Stacking is less about intensity, more about sequence and intention. And as we build these powerful routines, there's one more piece we can't skip: the environment that makes all this work. Supplements are only as effective as the soil they're planted in. That's what we'll explore next, because your stack doesn't start in a bottle, it starts on your plate. Number 9, food first: why supplements only work in the right environment. A few years ago, Linda, a 58-year-old teacher from Oregon, was doing everything right on paper. She had read the blogs, listened to the podcasts, and followed the supplement protocols. Magnesium glycinate before bed, vitamin D3 in the morning, K2 MK7 with meals. But despite her best efforts, her sleep was still broken, her energy unpredictable, and her joints ached after short walks. One day over lunch, her friend asked, "Linda, what are you eating with those supplements?" She paused and realized the truth. Frozen meals, coffee for breakfast, a salad here and there, protein, sometimes real fat, rarely. She wasn't unhealthy, but her foundation, the daily food, the rhythm, the micronutrient support, wasn't there. That's when things started to shift. Because no supplement stack, no matter how perfectly timed, dosed, or formulated, can override a body that's running on nutritional fumes. Why food is the operating system. Supplements are like apps. They can enhance, accelerate, or stabilize certain functions. But food is the operating system. It's the background layer your brain, hormones, and immune system rely on every hour of the day. Here's why it matters. Magnesium competes with calcium, zinc, and iron for absorption. If your diet is low in real food sources, like leafy greens, seeds, and legumes, your body may not even recognize the signals supplements are trying to send. Vitamin D3 needs dietary fat to be absorbed. If you're skipping healthy fats, like olive oil, avocado, nuts, eggs, you may be taking thousands of IU and absorbing only a fraction. Vitamin K2 is abundant in fermented foods like natto, cheese, and eggs from pasture-raised animals. If you're not eating these, a supplement helps, but it doesn't replace a gut ecosystem nourished by real food. A simple test you can do today: open your fridge. What you see should reflect what you want your brain and body to feel like. Are there colors, berries, greens, peppers? Is there healthy fat, olive oil, seeds, avocados? Is there real protein, not just powders, but eggs, fish, beans? Are there fermented foods, sauerkraut, yogurt, miso? If not, that's where the healing starts. The hidden cost of ignoring food. Here's what most people don't realize. When your food is off, supplements become expensive urine. The body can't use what it doesn't recognize or what it doesn't need. It will either excrete the excess or, worse, store it in the wrong places. That's why Linda's magnesium gave her digestive issues, because she lacked fiber and potassium to balance it. Why her D3 left her feeling wired at night, because she had no healthy fats or protein to buffer the spike. Why her K2 did nothing, because she was also low in calcium and phosphorus from poor food choices. The lesson: start with the soil. Your body is like a garden. Supplements are fertilizers, but if the soil is dry, nutrient depleted, and overrun with weeds, fertilizer won't fix the problem. You need to rebuild the soil. That means real meals at regular times, hydration that isn't just caffeine, fiber-rich, color-rich, fat-stabilized foods, and gut health that supports absorption, not inflammation. When you pair smart stacking with a well-fed system, your body responds. It doesn't need to be told what to do, it already knows. So if you've ever felt like you're doing everything right but still not feeling your best, maybe it's time to shift the question. Not what am I adding, but what am I building? Because once the foundation is strong, the rest becomes easier. And now, in our final part, we'll bring all of this together, not just the science, but the mindset that turns information into transformation. Let's finish with clarity, not confusion. Let's move from overwhelmed to empowered. You made it. And if your mind feels both full and fired up, that's a good sign. Because this wasn't just about magnesium or vitamin D3 or K2. It was about something deeper, reclaiming the conversation between you and your body. You began this journey with questions. Why am I tired even though I take all the right supplements? Why do I still feel anxious, foggy, or inflamed? Why does my health feel like a puzzle with missing pieces? And what you've discovered is that the missing piece wasn't knowledge, it was integration. Knowing what to take is only the surface. Knowing when, how, in what form, and in what context, that's where the real change begins. You've learned that magnesium is a master regulator, but it must match your lifestyle and stress. That vitamin D3 is powerful, but powerless without magnesium and K2 to activate and direct it. That formulation matters, because your biology isn't generic, and your supplements shouldn't be either. That timing matters, because your body has rhythms, not rules. That testing beats guessing, and your symptoms are signals, not failures. That stacking smart beats stacking more, and that food is not optional. But perhaps the most important thing you've realized is this: you are not broken. You are biologically intelligent. You don't need a perfect routine. You need a relationship with your body, with your patterns, with your energy. And every smart decision you make, choosing the right form, adjusting the dose, eating real food, listening to your sleep, noticing your mood, is a step away from overwhelm and a step toward ownership. So here's your challenge. Start with one small, precise shift. Maybe it's switching to magnesium glycinate at night. Maybe it's pairing your D3 with K2 and breakfast. Maybe it's asking your doctor for a 25-OD test or RBC magnesium. Maybe it's just eating a real breakfast tomorrow. Let it be simple. Let it be doable. But most of all, let it be yours. Because this is no longer about copying what others do. This is about crafting your own health code. And every time you act on understanding, not fear. Every time you follow your body's signal, not the noise. You take back control. Thanks for being here, for investing in your biology, and for becoming part of a community that believes in science, wisdom, and long-term health. If this episode gave you clarity, share what you learned in the comments. And if you're ready for the next chapter, subscribe and stay curious. Because your body has more to say, and we're here to help you listen.